Hello, welcome to Train Sim World 6. Today's video is going to be on the West Coast Mainline South, which is there. And it will be one of the new Class 805 scenarios. What I'm going to do is London, basically to Milton Keynes, because that's where the changeover is. Take charge of an early morning Advanti West Coast service bound for Edinburgh. Late running caused by the ever-changing weather conditions means that delays are likely. The 805 is Avanti West Coast's replacement for the Voyagers that went off lease a couple of years ago now, and now run from London to various locations, including Holyhead and other places that are not connected to overhead. The Holyhead trains have a switch over from electric to diesel at Crewe, while some of the other ones also have switch over, 805 being a bi-mode train. Basically what I'm going to do with this is all electric, so I shouldn't need to switch to diesel. Hopefully. But you can switch to diesel on the fly, which is quite fun. I've not done it yet, but probably will at some point in one of these games, or one of the timetable. There's two new timetables. It's also got new timetable for the Birmingham to Crewe route, but no scenarios for that one, unfortunately, which is a shame because I'd love to be able to do a scenario on there. Here we go. 9S44 bound for Edinburgh. Edinburgh is connected to the West Coast Main Line via Glasgow to Edinburgh. A route I'd like to see on this game. There's my train with a 350 in the background. We're in London Euston. Oh, there's a Pendolino. They don't go to Holyhead anymore. Today you're operating the first part of 9S44, a service running all the way to Edinburgh. Performance exterior prep of the unit. It's part of... I didn't see the end of that. Tail light check. Yep. Got the tail lights. Walk the length of the train, checking as you go. Okay. What have I got to look at here? Doors are open. That says Milton Keynes, Watford Junction is the next stop, or the first stop. I don't know if I've got just one 5-car unit or... Oh, that door's not open. Let's open it. Continue checking as you walk along. Any doors need opening. We've got two coupled up. That door can't be opened normally. Looks like there's something here, maybe. Nope, it's just going to the things. We've just gone past a 9-car Pendolino, and it's raining, so I'm going to have the wipers on. And now I get into the cab. So I go in through here, open the door, close the door, and then I sit in the driver's seat. So it should all be set up for electric. I'll set the lights to full, but I'm going to turn all the warning things on before I do any of the other prep. Go back into that. Now put it into forward. That's the AWS. Leave the cab to check the headlights. I'll get out through that door. Maybe if I put the mouse back to that. Oh, flipping. Trying to get through there. Go here, look at the headlights. Yep, they're on. Yes. Oh, I've jumped down the platform. Not a good idea. Yep, they're on. Go back into the cab, which means shutting the door again. Come on, get in. Thank you. Shut the door. Go back in. Set the wiper speed to 25. Oops, a bit too high. Knock it back a bit. There we go. And then wait for a few minutes. One thing I will do, get the thumbnail image. Also a bit for the end. That Pendolino is not long arrived because it's got red lights. These Evero units, as they're known, as you can see, they've got the pantograph, which is actually illuminated, which is useful for the... It's paused, so why is the fan running? It's useful for engineers to see that the pantograph's up. They've got diesel engines in 2 of the cars. Maybe 3. I'm not sure. The 805s are 5-car. When the Trent Valley line comes, it'll include the 807s, which are the 7-car versions. Also, buy mode. I'm just getting a few screenshots before I go. That's not in service. That's a 350, which are now coming off lease, so you don't see them as often. They're being replaced with the 730s, which are really nice. I've ridden on 4 of the 730s. Anything over the other side? Pendolino. Another Pendolino at the buffer stops. And then we go back up to the front. I'm not worrying about Oh, that's a interesting screenshot. Pendolino and Pendolino in the background. And then Pendolino with my train in the background. Is that... Oh, it's on the normal line. Don't know where the DC lines are. Can I go and get a shot with mine and the Pendolino? There we go. Right, back into this view. I haven't used the horn. Not yet, anyway. Start preparing that so it's there. Don't need that. Is the high voltage AC on? Auto. There we go. It's a rainy day, so we want things like that. I'm just making sure everything is set up how I like it. Can't open windows in this, unfortunately, and you can't drive if the door's open. So I can't open the door. There's the horn. There's pantograph buttons. could switch it to diesel and do all that, but I'm not going to. You can go faster with electric than you can with diesel. Pressing that opens the front coupling thing. If I go in this view, there's the coupling hatch. Which I could demonstrate it, actually. I'll open it. There we go. Open the coupling hatch. And close it back down. Will it close? Okay, I'm going to have to probably leave that out then. Don't want... Does that do anything? No. That's the guard buzzer. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have opened that. Ah well, it'll be open all the way. Brake release. It's got hill start, the same as the other 80 or 8XX series, because they've now got the 810s on the Midland Mainline. But you've got the 801, 802, 805, 807, 810.
Welcome aboard this Avanti West Coast service to Milton Keynes Central. We'll be calling at Watford Junction and Milton Keynes Central.
Okay, closing the doors.
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
And off we go, heading to, first of all, going via Harrow and Wealdstone, which is where one of the worst rail accidents happened. Wrote off a rebuilt LMS or ex-LMS Princess Coronation, originally built as Turbomotive 6202. That was the only, as far as I'm aware, that was the only engine from that crash that was written off. The other engines, I believe, survived. Okay, we've got a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit at the moment as we leave London Euston in the rain. Go under the flyover, so I need to be prepared to apply the brake so I'm not speeding. There's a friction buffer stop. There's a 350 just arriving and a Pendolino. Yeah, I can't close the front hatch. I didn't realise I couldn't close it, so oh well. There's that. And that. And we'll carry on. And be prepared to apply the brakes, because we're going slightly downhill as we go under the line. DC lines are over there. That's part of London Overground. I don't know whether we'll be on the slow or fast, because these, when they're coming through Atherstone, are always on the fast line. Going uphill, so I need some power. Looks like we're on the fast. Make it so you can see the inside the cab while we go through the tunnels. Past some graffiti on one of the line side buildings. We can accelerate a bit more. Up to 40. The beauty of these units, if I adjust the throttle, I don't have to worry about vigilance. Vigilance only happens if I'm not pressing anything or adjusting anything. There's all the carriage sidings for Euston. And we're nearly at the 45 or 50 limit. So cut power, we're going downhill slightly. Which line's that? That's a road, isn't it? Let's have a look. Is that a road? Yes. Not very well detailed, but it's a road. You don't normally come up this high. There's the carriage sidings. And there's DC lines. Didn't know this was here. An old abandoned station. I am considering getting one of the overground routes. Don't know why that's third rail rather than... Where's it go? Yeah, that's third rail. And overhead. Interesting. We are going on here. There's also third rail there. That's interesting. I don't normally pause to have a look. So, okay. We're on level track. These units are able to do 110 miles an hour because they're non-tilting. Pendolinos, when they've got the tilt method or tilt mechanism switched on, can do 125. Originally meant to be 140. But unfortunately, the upgrade was never actually completed to be able to do that. They are technically the fastest domestic trains currently in operation. The Class 395 Javelins could theoretically go through the Channel Tunnel, because that's what High Speed 1 is designed for, linking the Channel Tunnel to London. Okay, turn the cab light up again. I'll only turn the cab light on in tunnels. So, there's the DC lines again, over the far side. That's actually part of Underground now. So it should be 4 rail. Let's go into that view and have a look. Oh no, it's still third rail. Should be part of Underground. I'm staying within the cab because it's more prototypical. Yes, I'll be going out and doing screenshots. I can go up to 80, so I'll get the throttle set for that. We've got 7 miles before we get to London Euston. Where do we have to stop? Stop at Watford Junction. Stop at Milton Keynes. Okay. I don't know why. Hopefully the whole train will get into the 85 section. Before... There we go. Before I get to... It's a nice old signal box. Yeah, we should get into... There we go. Cut. Back to 1. Shouldn't be... Don't want to be speeding. I want to get as many action points, and I want to actually complete this scenario without doing a signal past at danger or anything like that. I mean, last week I had, what was it, 2? Where I failed because I passed a signal at danger? Or was it over the last 2 weeks? I can't remember. Tunnel. So on go the cab light. Normally you wouldn't have cab light on in a tunnel, or even when the train's moving, because the driver can't see clearly. But I'm turning it on so that we don't just get black. Okay, I can accelerate again up to 85, and then it goes up to 90 before we get up to 110. We need to keep close to the speed limit because of timetable. Watford Junction is the end of the DC line. If I'd got one of the overground routes, I could do a service from Euston to Watford Junction on the DC line, which is modelled all the way. Unfortunately, I don't have either the Suffragette or the Mildmay line, which are the 2 overground lines. So we can go up to max speed now. As I said, I might get one. Probably the Suffragette line. I'm not sure which of the 2's the longer, to be honest. I'd have to look. Is it on there? No, not that one. Just looking if I've got the list of there we go. Just trying to find the routes that are I've got an interactive map on my iPad so I can look at which routes. Click on that one first, because that shows me. Right, the longer of the 2 routes is the Suffragette line. Which I can't see where it... which version of Train Sim it was made for. There we go. Train Sim World 4 it was made for. Gospel Oak to Barking. Riverside. The other one is the Milton Keynes line, Stratford to Willesden Junction. Which I believe came out last year. I just can't see. Okay, we're going to go past Harrow and Wealdstone next. I don't know how far from... The DC lines are on the left here. Don't know how far from Watford Junction we are at the moment.
We are now approaching
There's a
Watford
underground train going on the
Please
DC
mind the
line.
gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Why did it say we're stopping? We're not. Weather is getting increasingly worse. Ensure your brake sufficiently early. Okay, can you tell me how far we got? 5.4 miles before Watford Junction. I will start braking at 1.5 miles. Oh, going a bit quick. Start braking at 1.5 miles. Actually, both London Overground routes are quite long, because the... Oh, that's Bakerloo line. That's why. That goes all the way up to... Harrow and Wealdstone. We've just gone past it. So we're now alongside part of the Bakerloo line that isn't modelled or isn't a route. Okay, 3.7 miles. Vigilance alarm. There is a yellow on the overground. Much smaller tunnels, you notice. Or much smaller bridges. Or bridge portals for the DC line. Which operate using Class 738s, I think, along there. As I said, I would like to get one of the DC line overground lines, because I think that would be quite interesting. To make an interesting run. Oh, I'm gonna have to start applying the brakes. The Mild May line, or Mild May, however you want to pronounce it, does actually have London King's Cross modelled, though you can't go down to it using one of the units or any of the overground trains. While the Suffragette line is quite a bit longer and looks to be an interesting
We are
route.
now approaching Watford Junction. Please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing.
There's the DC lines rejoining. And I'm hoping I stop in the right place. Trying to maintain time. We're a little bit late. Max brake. The weather's made us late. That's my excuse. And I'll have to use the emergency just to stop in the right place. There we go. That'll do, 14 yards. Not totally accurate, but
This is Watford Junction. Welcome aboard this.
what I'm going to do is go into photo mode again. Get a screenshot of that. Which way is that going? The other way. Screenshot of that. As I said, if I've got one of the overground routes, then down here in the bay platform, which is... Ooh, I've done that route map. This platform would have... or these 3 platforms would have overground trains in. 4 platforms. But as I don't have those routes at present, they don't. And this line is fully modelled, so you can drive from here to Euston on the DC lines. How far back am I? Not too far. It's not a bad little station, this. Okay. The Making Tracks model has that building on that side. There's part of the Junction. I don't think that's modelled very far. And there's another 350 with the doors open, so that'll be going soon. Back in this view.
Service to Milton Keynes Central.
It's not Milton Keynes Central. It's going all the way to Edinburgh. It's just I get off at Milton Keynes, which is the next stop.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to our team or text the British Transport Police on 61016.
We'll be heading to Milton Keynes now. So that should be a non-stop run. The doors all shut, yes. No errors or leaving Watford Junction. Off we go. 30 miles to Milton Keynes Central. Back in the cab. I don't know what we're going to be passing, if we pass anything on this. It's a nice early start. We've got 20 minutes to do 30 miles. So the sooner we can get up to the 110, the better.
Right. Speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it? Say it. Sorted.
Just let the announcement for the British Transport Police thing go. Okay, go up to max power. 30 miles at express speed. Gonna have to turn the light on because we've got Watford Tunnel. I know this bit of the line. It's been a while since I've driven the West Coast Mainline South, so makes a change. There's the northern portal of this 2-track tunnel. The up lines go on the far side, the down lines are on this side. Originally it would have been just both lines through this tunnel, because it was 2-track. Or might have been the other tunnel, and then this one put in to straighten it. I'm not 100% sure on that. Wonder if I can close that thing yet, because it's still open. No. Still can't close it. Oh well. Joined up with the uplines again. We'll soon be at 110, and then we just go along. Already getting a decent number of action points. Having all the safety systems switched on is a good idea. Oh, what's that? Station. Thought it was a train for a second. It wasn't. It was a station. We will go past Tring, Leighton Buzzard, Bletchley, and then arrive at Milton Keynes. I don't know the other intermediate stops. It's not really a section of line I've been on that much. In fact, the only time I ever went on it was December 96. Riding an HST to London. Went with the A-level history class, despite not doing A-level history, because the teachers invited me. It was a good day. Visited the Victoria and Albert Museum. Harrods. Wanted to see the Science Museum, but couldn't find it. Went up the mall, saw Bookhouse, went into the Houses of Parliament, and got to meet my, at the time, MP, and go into the I chambers. It's where they go when they're doing votes. They don't actually say yay or nay, or aye or nay, when they're doing votes. They just walk through and they're counted that way. It's an interesting way of doing it. And they don't put the hands up like you would if you're doing voting with things like school or at a club. And both chambers have all the laws that have been made since the time of I believe it's Cromwell. They're all stored on scrolls. So they can actually look at the various laws and acts for the last 400-500 years. It's quite impressive. Right, 22 miles. Oh, we've got a 100-mile-an-hour speed restriction. Slow down to it, so I'm not speeding. There we go. 100 miles an hour. Maybe slow down a little bit early there, but at least I won't be speeding. There's the 100. Tilting trains could do faster, but I'm not on a tilting train. Once we have left this 100-mile-an-hour section, the whole train, I can accelerate again, back up to 110. I just have to make sure I keep an eye on the speedo and track monitor to see what speed I'm allowed to do. There we go, I can go up to 110. I don't know. Oh, the signals are changing, that's good. Tunnel. Oh, I kept the light on. Oh well, doesn't matter. Going through tunnels is perfectly fine. I think this is Hampstead Heath. Not too sure. Let's go back to 2 and then I'll drop it to 1 when we get to 110. That's the power handle. Ooh, Pendolino. One that's going... It's actually tilting, look. That one's tilting. And it's got a driver. But you can barely see them because they blend into the seat. Can I go into their cab and do a shot like that? Okay, go in, get the focal point further away. That's interesting. And then into my cab. And do the same. Wouldn't do that in real life. Taking a photo while you're driving. But it looks quite snazzy. Something I did on that 4-hour video, which hopefully people have watched. Oh, I can cut back a bit. I didn't realise I got up to 110. I'm trying to get the power handle to be where I want it, and I went too low and then too high, and then now I'm where I want it. Not got any speed restrictions coming up for at least the next 2.7 miles. So I can be relaxed. With this Evero unit, it has increased the number of services for timetable mode. It's actually added an extra timetable mode to the game. So it's now 2025 timetable. Which... Oh, we're going downhill slightly. I should just be able to coast. There's now... 2 timetables on Birmingham to Crewe. The 2019 original and the 2025 update. And then it's either 2 or 3 on this route. I will do one of the timetable services, but it also adds extra for the train spotting videos. I could go to somewhere like Watford Junction or Stafford or Crewe and just watch the trains that are more frequent. Doing Watford Junction would probably require me to get one of the overground routes so that you could actually have the trains arriving there as well. But it's... And that is a 350. Let's look at second man's view. Does that work? Sorry. Ooh, second man view is good. And... Okay, my... camera moved quite a bit. That shows how fast it's going. It's gone too far. There's my train. Gone way too far. I only pressed it once, and it's gone quite a distance. Next time I use this 350, I will not do the door thing. Or the coupling. Because they don't normally go with the door wide open. That's an 8-car class 350. 14 miles. Wonder if there'll be any freights. Bearing in mind it's 20 to 7 in-game. We're on the fast line, I believe. Slow lines are over the far side. At least I think so. Find out if we see a freight. As I said, these Evero units, the 805s, 807s, on the Trent Valley line are definitely on the up and down fast. It's only if there's blockages on the fast that they go on the slow. So I'm presuming it'll be... This is the fast line. Over a crossover to get to the what I think is the slow, and then reverse. I'm having to apply and unapply the throttle so that I'm not speeding or going... There's slow train. right next to that engineers thing. So that one's going to Euston. There's my train in the background, still with its door wide open. Go up like that. I didn't really want the OHLE equipment in the way, but oh, I'm in number 3. I've seen that one. In fact, it's in some of my real railway videos. What's the one on the back? Let's have a look. What is the other unit that I'm coupled up to? The other unit is 8. Okay. So it's 3 and 8 that are coupled together. Oops, speeding again. And we're now going slightly uphill. Don't need the cab light at the moment. Um, 10 miles. This is a relatively quick scenario. 45 minutes in-game time with me going out and taking screenshots every now and then. I'd prefer it if it wasn't raining, because the screenshots would look even better, but can't help it. It's what's been programmed for the scenario. I'm struggling to think clearly with what I'm trying to say. Yes! Didn't see that. 90 mile an hour. Pendolino wouldn't have an issue with that, but single tunnel. I did not see that 90 mile an hour. I wasn't looking in the right place. It's a bit silly of me. At least I slowed down as fast as I could before we got to the really tight bend. That will have knocked some action points off my total. Hopefully not enough that I won't get the highest medal. Really hope so, because I do like getting the medals at the end of each scenario or timetable run. Yes, I've had some where I've been playing for some time and then basically messed up, as evidenced over the last couple of weeks. This one being a relatively short scenario, I shouldn't have an issue if I do make an error. I can just re-record. But I actually prefer to show when I make a mistake. I know a lot of people who do train sim videos don't. They want to appear perfect all the time. I'm not like that. I want to show that I'm human. Everyone makes mistakes. I know there's one YouTuber who does it without the HUD. I, however, don't know the routes that well. Oh, Pendolino. Too late. Can I still get into photo mode? There's the Pendo. Pendolino is actually, looking at it, it's slightly higher than. Did notice that? It's slightly higher than the Everos. It's interesting. Weird, but interesting. Okay. 108 miles an hour. 5 miles to go. At least when I've finished, I'll probably just be able. Let's have a look. What do I have to do? Just load passengers. And I've got 3 minutes to do that distance. Going to be a bit late. Not too worried, because you don't really get a big drop in action points for being a few couple. I think it's more than 5 minutes late you really lose out. But I'm not going to be speeding, not intentionally. And, well, it doesn't really bother me if I'm too late. Or if I'm. That's weird. Okay. That's not loading in. The track's disappeared. Scenery isn't fully loaded in. Now it's back. That was weird. I don't normally get that effect. Green signal. Ping. Haven't passed a freight. Would have been nice to pass a freight. I mean, West Coast Mainline has a lot of freight services on it. And I haven't passed one. Next signal's yellow. So prepare to start stopping. Double yellow, then single yellow, then red. So we need to start slowing down. There's a ground signal for the crossover to here. We're going into platform 6 at Milton Keynes. Which is actually going to be the southern station on the Trent Valley route for Trainsim World. There's the A5. Apply the brakes a bit more. Yes, I know it's yellow. There's a... Have I got it in the time? Oh, that's just perfect for a view across. Let's have a little play with the time. Can I change the weather off? Yes. I just want to see what it'd look like in the evening. It's April, so evening would be... Oh, that's too dark. Why are you jumping? That's better. Can I go on the other side of my Evero? Milton Keynes is just up there. And that's 8 car 350 that's heading to London. There we go. I'm slowing down. Even more braking. Yeah, I'm late. I knew I would be.
We are now approaching Milton Keynes Central. Please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform
Just
before
coast the rest of the
removing
way.
heavy luggage and pushchairs.
Milton Keynes I've been to a few times because of the Hornby Magazine Great Electric Train Show. Why the station is called Milton Keynes Central is beyond me, because it's the only station in Milton Keynes. Arriving at our final destination for this scenario. But as I was saying, Milton Keynes will be the southern end of the Trent Valley line for Trainsim World 6. And you'll be able to continue all the way up to Crewe, which will be actually quite fun. Go through Rugby, Nuneaton, Atherstone, Tamworth, Lichfield, Trent Valley, Rugeley, Trent Valley, and Stafford, and then up to Crewe. Get a shot like that where it won't let me go over those. I want a shot where you can see my track. Won't let me do what I wanted. I want it without the... that'll do. Let's change the focal point. Oh, wrong way. Depth of field. Gives me a better view. Anything else in the station while I'm in photo mode? No. We're the only train in the station. And we're on the platform that the slow trains usually go on. Weird. I thought we were on the fast line. Obviously not. Doors are open. Loading passengers. And then I'll be getting out. Well, I probably won't, but I'll open the door ready. Because it'll be shut the doors and that'll be end of scenario. So before it... There we go. You're only a few minutes late into Milton Keynes. Time to see how you've done. Before it's going, let's get another... Can I stop the rain? I want it without rain. There we go. Get rid of the rain and the wetness. And... end of scenario. I've got out of my seat. Tiny bits of speeding. Still get a platinum medal, which is what I wanted. I was a minute late into Watford, minute late into Milton Keynes. So, objective completed, 1,000 points. Distance driven, 6,930 points. Use safety systems, 5,940. So, using safety systems gives you a lot of points. Speeding, minus 422.5 points. No issue with wipers in the rain because I turned them on. On-time bonus, 113. Accuracy bonus, 476. That would have been a bit higher if I'd have stopped at Watford Junction at the correct place. I mean, I was 14.6 yards short at Watford. And just 0.3, so a third of a yard at Milton Keynes. I drove 49.75 miles and walked 343.73 yards. Didn't do too badly. First time driving one of them in anger, so that was quite good. And I will eventually do all the other scenarios, just not on this video. This is going to be a comparatively short video. So, I hope you've enjoyed seeing the Class 805 Evero on the West Coast Mainline South. Friday will be Birmingham to Crewe timetable with an Evero. I don't know whether it will be me driving it or standing at Crewe or Stafford and just watching the trains go by for a bit. I've got to make my mind up because the train spotting is quite fun because I can get some interesting screenshots, whereas driving you just see whatever goes past. Anyway, thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the video, and until Friday, be seeing.
Warbler Productions. filming trains and events that happen in town.
Wearing his red trilby, Dale can be seen with cameras 3 all set up.
Steam trains and diesels, electrics and freights.